Good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's market debrief. What we have on the screen here is the S&P 500 index, and mainly last week we had US make a new high over here. Okay, but on the past 2 nights, right, there's some deep pullback, and I believe there's some concern, what has caused this pullback. So the main thing is that the news of this is that United Kingdom or UK had discovered a new COVID-19 virus strain, which they say is like deadlier and is more transmit even faster compared to the other strains. Okay, so for the past 2 days, there is a lot of news reports showing a lot of countries has started to bar UK travelers, and start to close their borders to UK travelers. Okay, so this is what we know from all the different news sources. Okay, so it's mainly it's with regards to the new strain found in UK. Okay, so but despite that, right, we can see that most of the index, like this S&P 500 index, right, has closed above. Despite the earlier opening close, right, there is like a lot of selling, but thereafter over the night it closed up higher. Okay, so which means to say because of all this restriction, governments doing their job to prevent the spread, that I think they feel safe, that is not going to be of a big issue. Okay, so that's what I think the market expectation of this news. Okay, looking at the Dow Jones Industrial Average, okay, it's not that nice, okay, because last night it actually closed downwards, okay, despite this recovery. Whereas for the Nasdaq seems to be stronger. Okay, recovered, and then it started to inch higher compared to the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones, right? It inches downwards. Okay, mainly because of the tech, and for the previous COVID period in back in March, we know that the tech sector had done well through online sales, so or working from home arrangements. So a lot of tech sectors like the Apple, Microsoft, Cisco, and such had given this Nasdaq a boost. Okay, so that's why Nasdaq is trading higher or better compared to the other index over the past few days. So what we see here on the Hang Seng, okay, for Hang Seng, right, their COVID numbers have been dropping. That's a good sign. Okay, from last week average roughly about 80 plus cases to now what I saw over the past few days, right, is like 50 to 60 cases. Okay, so they are dropping, they are controlling it. Okay, so previously I mentioned that it's going to trade between this channel. Okay, so what we have is it tested the bottom channel, and then today it rebounded up, mainly being pushed by the tech sector. Okay, so later I will share with you Hang Seng Tech, to show this. Okay, what we have from the commodity space, Bitcoin I've already mentioned about this. It's like it's been running on a trend over here. We're trying to talk about this, saying it's still on an upward trend, and it's still trending. Okay, so if we take this price, right, divide by the 200-day moving average price, right, is about 1.8 times. Okay, if we compare the price, okay, of the Bitcoin running back in 2017, right, the difference between here and its 200-day moving average is roughly about 3.4 times. And what we have here right now compared to its 200-day moving average is roughly here for the 50-day is about 1.8 times. Okay, so which means to say there could be still more room for it to run, slightly higher, but thereafter you should be very careful if it started to hit like 2 times its moving average. Okay, so because it shows that the gap between the current price and the 200-day moving average is too far apart. Okay, which means in terms of people taking profits, getting out of the market is very high. Okay, so this is currently 1.8 times this gap. Okay, so if this started to go higher to like 2.2, 2.5, you should be very wary and start to take profits. Okay, this is the gold spot price. Okay, I've mentioned that it's been trading between these two channels. We have a channel over here and a channel over here. And last week I mentioned that it's going to test the upper channel, and it did so like 3 days later, testing upper channel and then coming back down. Okay, so it's still in the consolidation, and as I've mentioned in a couple of videos, it will take another few more months, right, before it can recover back up. If this were to form the handle pattern from the cup and handle formation. Okay, so we'd just like to see how this one turns out. Based on current Federal Reserve unlimited QE policy, the likelihood for this to move up is high. Bitcoin has already rallied, so I think this one will start to follow soon. Thereafter, but it will take a few more months to complete this consolidation. Okay, for our Straits Times Index, we are currently trading at this 2800 support. This support seems to be quite strong. Okay, there's a sell down, and then thereafter it rebounded back up. Okay, so overall, I don't think the market is going to move down some more unless it managed to break this 2800 support region. Okay, so for our Singapore market, mainly because of this new news, because of the new UK virus strain, certain stocks, mainly the PPE manufacturer, your MedTech, UG Healthcare, Top Glove, Riverstone, these are stocks that started to have some movement the past few days. Okay, so you start to see MedTech having this 2 days rally over here. Okay, so MedTech compared to the rest, right, seems to be the strongest movement or strongest pattern. Okay, but overall, I still don't like this. Okay, as I've explained before, the theme now is more on vaccine. Okay, so which means to say the reliance on PPE in the future will be less. The demand for PPE will be less, and the competition is also very intense. Okay, there are a lot of companies they are making PPE, making masks. People are also adopting cloth type. It lasts longer, so they don't need to keep on buying new disposable masks. Okay, so it's mainly the hospital, and COVID number cases are dropping. So which means to say demand will be lesser. So I do not recommend that, even though in a very short term period it seems to be moving upwards. Okay, so you just have to be mindful for that. Okay, so this is UG Healthcare. So there's a strong rally yesterday because of the news. Top growth doesn't have any movement. Okay, it's been remaining very quiet. I think mainly because also their manufacturing plants or factories will need to be closed down. Okay, due to some of their employees contracting COVID-19. Okay, so if we are looking at the team vaccine. Okay, people are all like trying to roll out vaccine to the mass population. So in Singapore, right, I would say Raffles Medical will be the one who will be, besides the government hospitals and clinics, I would say Raffles Medical will be the one that will be rolling out all this vaccine to the masses. Okay, so therefore you can start to you see this after the vaccine news is been coming out. Singapore importing their vaccine, right? That the share price has started to move up. Okay, and the other one would be Sing Medical. Okay, so we have a huge spikes, after the news that comes out. Okay, so you can look into this. As it starts to pull back, you can look for entry to enter. So on to the big cap stocks. Okay, as we know, these are the ones that affect the Straits Times Index. First up will be DBS. Okay, so DBS, as I've mentioned, they are in the consolidation phase. Okay, after this huge rally, so a huge rally and then followed by a consolidation phase. This is a healthy thing. Okay, and we know that despite the news, right, the support here between 24.70 and $25 is been a nice support. Okay, so therefore the share price keep on closing above $25. Okay, so there are a lot of support in there. So I think most likely it's still going to continue its consolidation sideways, for this 50 days moving average to catch up. So probably we'd like to see in 2 weeks time, 3 weeks time. So right now we have our Christmas coming. Okay, tomorrow is a half day trading session. Okay, so do take note. So people are in holiday mode. Why there are all this selling is that there's already a huge rise. Funds probably had already hit their targets. Okay, and therefore they start to sell position, take profit, risk off, and just maintain here. Okay, so my guess is it's going to maintain here till next year, the new year, first week or second week, before the market will start to move. Okay, so we just be patient. Okay, OCBC, similar story. All right, so the support region 9.90 to $10 has been very strong. It kept on closing above, like over here. It keep on closing above, and then it tests already. Next day it gap up, close above, and then here same thing. It comes down and then it close above. Today similarly it sells down and then it close back up above $10. So I believe there are a lot of like support here. Buyers holding the price up, and probably we just have to wait for this consolidation to finish. Okay. So since I shared these two already, then I think I'll skip UOB. Another financial institution that has been doing quite well, SGX. Mentioned in a last week video that there's this rally. Okay, today there's again another rally testing this resistance region, $9.30 to $9.35. Okay, so do watch out. And most likely, it's looking to break above. Okay, SIA. Previously I've mentioned that this one is likely to break out already, likely to move up, and then we have the news. Okay, UK news of the news strain, and with that, because of the closing of the borders with UK, then there is this drop. All right, so though despite the drop, right, this drop is like testing this trend line support. Okay, and the previous support here. All right, so I mean, we have to, this one we have to see how it turns out, but most likely it might stay there. Okay, it might stay in this region or even test below here, like 390, 200-day moving average. Okay, so we just have to have to be patient if you invest in SIA. But I personally do not recommend SIA. Instead of SIA, it's better to have invest in SATS, because SIA is just an airline. SATS, they serve many different airlines. All right, so this is SATS. Okay, so this after the talk about opening of borders, it gap up, rally up, and then thereafter it's been consolidating, and due to the new strain, the news, it start to sell down. Okay, so this is an expectation that there will be less flights flying to the different ASEAN airports from UK. Okay, so we just have to see or monitor the situation of this UK news, the news strain, and then we see how this one will turns out. Singtel. Okay, Singtel. There seems to be a lot of trading happening, and supporting the price above this this support region, about $2.30. Okay, so we do know that the news out, Singtel and Grab is forming a digital bank, to serve a new venture. Okay, so in the long term, this should bode well for Singtel, but do note that their digital bank is coming online in 2022. Okay, we have Wilmar recently, for over the past 1 week, has been rallying for over the past 1 week. So not too sure what the news is, but overall is among the STI component stocks, they are they are one of the strongest. Okay, and it's also because the palm oil prices has been high. Then with our Singapore going on into phase 3 coming 28 December. So a stock that probably we might be looking at is the Genting Singapore. Okay, with more customers, more tourists, more people going to casino. So therefore, after the news, right, it has been rallying. Okay, and then because of the news strain, people scared that it's going to affect their business. They sell down. So, but overall, this whole pattern, Genting seems to be strong. Okay, it seems to be turning up on a mid to long term basis. Okay, so now right now it's all on a recovery rally. All right, so you can look into this. No, there's already a 4 days drop. Okay, so most likely this will serve as a strong support region, 825 to about 835. So on to the REITs. Okay, we have the Ascendus REITs. Okay, previously I've mentioned that this line 285 to 290 has been a very strong support region. And then we have some news that comes out. Okay, Ascendus REITs do another new acquisition in Australia, logistic portfolio. Okay, so it just came out today, and so I think it's going to be positive also for over the next few days. So we see how this one turns out. The past 3 days, though it's red, right, the volume has been much lower. Okay, so most likely it's going to trade sideways, before it will start to turn up. Kaplan Integrated Commercial Trust. Overall, this one seems to be quite strong. Okay, so after this rally, okay, despite all the selling in the broad market, we have this trading sideways. The pullback is very shallow, so I would say this is a positive for Capital Integrated Commercial Trust. So those who have it, we can still continue to hold it. All right. When to sell is only when we start to see like this started to go back up like 250 260 region, and when there's like a euphoric run. Okay, so despite this, looking at this, I think we still can continue to hold. Okay, Capital Retail China Trust today had a EGM. The result is out. Okay, for the acquisition of their portfolio in China, the 5 business park. Okay, so it's again all 4 for it, and so therefore I think it's positive. Okay, I think that's why today we start to see some buying up above this support region, about 132, 131, 132. Okay, it dropped down and rebound. So most likely it's going to consolidate here just below this major resistance, about 140 area. Okay, so we just have to wait for probably a week or two, before it will start to rally. Okay, we are also expect them to there's some time needed for them to complete the whole deal, and then make it accretive for their whole investment portfolio. Manulife US REIT, as I've mentioned, it's been quiet and it's still dead quiet. Okay, so just be careful of this. It might move in both direction, but with the likelihood to be up, more likely. With Christmas in a few more days, I do not know about Orchard area. Have you all went to Orchard? I think most likely it's going to be crowded or lots of people. Okay, I tend to avoid crowded places. But nonetheless, Lanley Street with 300 Somerset, this it's forming a nice consolidation, a very shallow pullback. Okay, so this is nice. So we just let it finish its consolidation. This will form a nice cup and a handle pattern. Okay, so we just wait for this and wait for it to break above this 76 half and 76 cents area before it can continue its uptrend. On to some smaller stocks for those interested in short-term trading. This MFG integration, not too sure what to do. I think it does electronic stuff. Okay, there is a huge rally today. Okay, and I think there is some news mentioning that they are going to distribute dividends or return of capital. Okay, roughly about 0.33 cents. Okay, in cash in the capital of the company. Okay, so this is by order by the High Court. Okay, and the ex-date, okay, will close on the 5th 31st December. Okay, so you have probably, we look at the calendar, a 31st here is +1 +2 +1. I think the X date should be on the 29th X date, so you should do the if you want to have the dividends, you have to hold past this hold till 29. Okay, so this is for MF. The reason why this MFG manufacturing or integration started to move today. Okay, Enviro Hub, I've mentioned about this stock 2 weeks ago after this rally, and then last week it just did a rest, and the past 2 days there's a rally again, it broke off. Okay, so just to highlight this for those who are monitoring. Food Empire, I think your Super 3-in-1 brand and such, today have a nice rally. Okay, so probably is attempting to break above this 635 region. Okay, so most likely it the expectation of it to move higher is the likelihood is higher. Okay, so that's all I have for the Singapore market. All right. Beginning I mentioned that I'll be talking about the Hang Seng. Okay, Hang Seng. We have the so-called Hang Seng Tech Index. So for those who wants to have exposure in the Hang Seng technology sector, you can look into some of these stocks. Okay, so this tech index, right, is mainly the their holdings, right, are those biggest 30 biggest market cap in Hong Kong. Okay, so if we look at some of their holdings, right, they are holding stocks like Alibaba, Ali Health, Xiaomi, JD.com, Lenovo Group, Kingsoft. Some of these are very big Chinese companies listed in Hong Kong. Okay, ZTE is your phone manufacturer, Ping An Health, and such. Okay, so these are some of the biggest tech companies. So it's like a Asian version of the Nasdaq in the US. So if you're interested in this, right, you can look into this. There are actually three ETF that invest or track the tech index, Hang Seng Tech Index. This is by CSOP. This is the biggest one, 3033. All right, and is the biggest. Why? Because it is roughly about $5 billion in net asset value. But its management fee is on the high side, roughly about 1%, 1.05% at the moment. Okay. The second one is this iShare by BlackRock. Okay, this is the second biggest one. Okay, and it's roughly running about, let me see. This holding, if I remember correctly, is about 3.5 billion. Okay, and their management fee is ongoing right now, is roughly about 0.25. This is the first year, right? You should be expecting like 0.35% estimate. All right, and the third one is listed in Singapore, Lion Global OCBC Securities Hang Seng Tech ETF. Okay, so this is the smallest one. The other two is running in the billions. This one is only running about 400 million Hong Kong dollars. Okay, so it's a small size fund listed in Singapore, and it's the same thing. It's exclude EIP investment, so you can anyone can invest in it. You can use your SRS also. Okay, so whereas the other two, CSOP and Hang Seng one, right? Okay, you have to be SIP eligible, meaning to say you have to take the test to say that you understand the risk of investing in warrants and ETF. Okay, so these two are SIP, and then the Singapore one is EIP. You know, anyone can invest in it. All right, so what happens from the so this is seesaw. Okay, so you can see that this is the first day, quite crazy kind of trading. Okay, so you can see that it's running on an uptrend, and it's quite a volatile ETF. Okay, 3067 is similar. Okay, running in similar fashion, and then today there's a rally. Okay, and HSD is listed in Singapore, so it's just recently listed only. Okay, so this is what I'd like to share with you guys. Do you guys have any questions? Any stocks you would like me to go through? You can post in the chat, or you can speak through the mic. Alibaba. Okay, Alibaba. I think in 2 or 3 weeks ago, somewhere, sorry, somewhere around here, I mentioned that it's going to test the support here, roughly about 245. Okay, so at this moment, 245 is still holding well. Okay, but looking at the overall sentiments, I think there's a higher chance of Alibaba breaking downwards. Main reason is also because of the news that not really like news, but I'll say because of the Ant Financial IPO. Basically Jack Ma had somehow what you call offended the Chinese officials. Okay, the government, China government. Okay, so I think because of that, people seems to be less reluctant to invest in Alibaba. Okay, so that's why the pattern has been forming as such. So I think the likelihood of it breaking down is high. Okay, and if it does, then probably I would like to invest really. Okay, so looking at this, right, take away the extension. Okay, so the likelihood, if it were ever to break down, right, the likelihood in which they will drop to is roughly about this area, about 216 or 212, 216. So yeah, this will prove to be a nice support region. Okay, this area. Okay, so roughly this area 215 to 220, this will be a nice support region. So if you're able to break down, right, most probably I will look into buying them in this area. So if you are thinking that, let's say if you are holding somewhere in a higher price, and say why not, if you were to expect to go down, and why not sell now and then buy later. um, my thinking is that, I mean, this is just a so-called prediction or forecast, and we can never be sure with forecasts. What if the market, this support region holds well, and then news come out that, okay, China is behind Jack Ma again, then this is likely going to rebound back up. Okay, so if you were to sell and then expect it to come down, right, then as it rebound, you may be out of the stock really, and miss the move up. Okay, so it is good. That's why it's good that if we have always spare cash, or we have margin around, that in the event that it were to drop down, right, we are able to have cash or ammo to buy more, to average down, and then when it start to recover, right, we'll be gaining more lah, and our average price will be lower. If not, thank you everyone. We'll come to the end of this sessions, and have a Merry Christmas. Thank you everyone. See you guys next week.